couple of weeks ago, I watched the movie Jazzman's Blues, and it really made a good impression on me. So I did a short video commentary on what I learned about it, and it's been interesting. The feedback that I've received from people who have seen it either on Facebook or on Instagram. I remember someone calling me and saying, "Pastor Name, I watched it and I didn't see anything family." But it's interesting that the things you saw, and I remember another person said, "Oh, I'm sure there are more things you could have talked about, and maybe you should talk about those things that you saw within the movie and that people could learn from it." And it's just been on my mind. Okay, probably I will just talk about it. So like I said in the first short movie, I think it was about clip I did. I think it was about 3-4 minutes. So when I watch movies, the movies that I really get to watch, when I watch them, I like to watch movies alone, like I said, so I can listen so as I was watching the Jazzman's Blues, Tyler Perry, really good one by the way. I looked at the whole story, the man, his family, Bayou's father, his wife, I think her name was Hattie Mae, his first son, Willie L, the younger son, Bayou. Then there was a girl that he fell in love with, and she loved that too, Leanne. And that's the whole drama around the whole movie. And so for those who watched and did not see the family themes I spoke about, believe me, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure that it's not primarily what Tyler Perry set out to do. It's just what I saw. So the thing was just about how life was under segregated America back in those days before the blacks were really fully integrated in the society. So there are a number of themes. If I sit down, which I did, and I looked at the number of themes that I could pick out, and I'm not saying that's it. People can pick out different things. I picked out things with respect to family. I saw the responsibility of the husband and father. I saw that of the mother and the wife. I saw how you need to parent and build cohesion within the family. I saw how family backgrounds influenced our lives from childhood, and if we're not careful, all the way. I saw the place of sibling rivalry and all those things. So like I said, a number of things that people can talk about within this whole structure of that movie. And if I have the time, I'll try and talk about the different things. But so let's start today by talking about the man of the house. So if you remember the movie, it starts with this setting. This old woman was watching this politician on TV. Then it went back to 1937, and there was this family in this community. They were playing music. It was good that even in the midst of the challenges of their time, they were having fun in their own way. So the father was playing the mouth organ, and I think the guitar. His wife was singing, and the little black community were there around them, and they were all having fun. Then the father calls his second son, Bayou, to come and play the trumpets, and the young man struggles with it. He struggled with playing the trumpet, and the father made some comments about him, derogatory comments, by the way, and the mother tried to cover him up. Then he called his first son, Willie L, and that one comes in and plays beautifully on the trumpet or something, and he said, "Yeah, that's my son," and all that. But then Bayou went away and went somewhere to stay beside the river. Then the lady Leanne comes and all that. And we see how the scene goes on, how he really looked down at Bayou, how he discouraged him, how he made him feel less than a true child because he could not play the instruments, and how he made it obvious that Willie Earl was his favorite, and the tension between the brothers, and they seemed to like the same girl again and all that. So I look at the place of the man, the man, the man, the man, the man of the house, the husband, and the father. It's very crucial in any family relationship. And I remember the story of this young man I read. He was disturbing his father. He was disturbing the father was trying to do some work, and his little child of about 5 years old was disturbing him. And the man was like, how can I just get this boy to get off my back? What can I use to distract him? So there was a magazine. On the magazine was a picture of the world, map of the world and all that, all the countries in the world. So the man just ripped it off, tore it into pieces and all that. I said, oh God, son, if you can put this picture together, then I'll take time off to play with you. And in no time, the boy put the picture together, and the man was like, what? How could you have fixed the whole all the countries, put them together and all that? But what the father did not know that the magazine was lying on top of a glass table, and the boy was playing under the table. So on the other side of the magazine was a picture of a man. So the father didn't see that. He didn't see the other side of the magazine. All he saw on the top was the picture of the world map. But the boy saw under, and he saw the face of a man. So the boy said, oh, I didn't try to put the map of the world together. I just put the man together. And by putting the man together, the world was together. And it's key, and very key. And I believe there's a lot of responsibility on us as men. It's not as if women don't have. There's lots of responsibility on us as men, as husbands, as fathers. And that the tragedy that befell that family could have been averted if Bayou's father was just the kind of man he was supposed to be. If he was a man who preserved his family, he was a man who watched out for every member of his family. If he was a man that ensured that every member of his family flourished and thrived. If he was a man that understood the unique strength and weakness of his family and tried to bring them together, then he would know that just as Willie L's strength was in playing the trumpets, Bayou's strength was in singing, and there was nothing wrong with it. Why? His mother was already singing, so he could have had a duet. Let the mother and son sing together, and they would have played, and everybody would have been a winner for it. But some way, somehow, the man just didn't get it, and because he didn't understand that weakness brought the weakness of his family and brought the whole thing down. Sometime later, guess what? The man left the house. He left the house because he just couldn't see how he could. So the weakness in carrying his whole family together showed in his own personal life, because when he was going to move to Chicago, he felt that, oh, my skill can open doors for me in Chicago. He wasn't thinking about us. He was thinking about himself. He was thinking about individuals instead of thinking about the family together. And the moment you have that kind of mentality within a family setting, then there's trouble brewing. If all you're looking at is, oh, how I win, what I want, how I get it, whether you are the husband, wife, or anything, it's terrible. But when it's the man especially, it's a real bad thing. And we see that in the life of Bayou's father. Another thing is the fact that the mother was more vocal on major issues within the family's space. So Bayou was dressing up to go and see the lady he was trying to, go on a date with, Leanne. And the brother began to pick on him. And the father didn't really say anything initially. And when he said something, it was something derogatory again. And you see, a man can be quiet. There's nothing wrong with a man being quiet. But when a man is silent on the things that he's supposed to speak out on, then that could be very, very dangerous. A man that is silent on the things, the core issues around his family, around the values and all that, is a very, very dangerous man, and he's a weak man. So maybe he wanted to be in the good books of his brother, he wanted to do this or that. He didn't say anything, and that was a problem. If you remember Adam in the Bible, one of the major problems with Adam was this: he was silent on something he was supposed to speak about. So God had said, don't eat of the fruit of the garden, and Eve comes and had eaten of it and brings the fruits to man. And mind you, when Eve ate that fruit, nothing happened, there was no problem. But she brought the fruit to man, and man saw the fruits. He could have said something. He could have said, why did you eat it? You're not supposed to eat it. Where did you get that fruit from? And all those things. But guess what? He said nothing. And that was where trouble started. So when a man is silent on the things that he's supposed to speak out on, now I'm not saying nagging, I'm not saying shouting, I'm not saying that, but you must be, I believe the man is the chief value officer in the house. I believe you are the standard keeper, you're the standard bearer. You are supposed to ensure moral standards, godly standards are adhered to. You are supposed to be the number one example of that, and you are supposed to ensure that everybody keeps to that. But the moment the man is silent in the name of peace, that he doesn't want to be, he wants peace, or he wants to show favoritism to somebody, and he's not speaking on the issue he's supposed to speak on, then there is trouble. Finally, the other thing to say about this, but another thing on the subject of Bayou's father is the fact that a man must be matured enough, and I think that's why the Bible says, a man will forsake his father and mother when it comes to marriage and be joined to his wife, because the maturity it takes. The maturity is not, I go to work and I bring money and I pay the bills. That's not maturity. You don't have to be matured to be able to pay bills. Maturity is not about, I'm old. Maturity is self-control, is sacrifice, is self-government. And that government you bring to your life, you bring it to every member of your family. And from the beginning, it was clear that Bayou's father was not that kind of man. There was no self-discipline, there was no self-government, there was no boundaries that he lived with, and because of that, he just fizzled out. And that's what happened to those kind of men. God said this about Abraham in Genesis, I think 18 verse 9. He said, I know him, I know this man Abraham. He said, I want to do something. He said, what I want to do, I can't keep from Abraham. Why? Because I know him. He said, I know this man Abraham, that he's going to instruct his family, he's going to guide them right, and everybody in his household to do justice and judgment, so that God's promise can be manifested in his family. God said, I trust him that he will bring his family right. He will lead them in the right direction. He's not going to be quiet about this issue. He's going to speak about it and bring them to that place. There was a time in Abraham's life that he was silent on what he was supposed to be, to speak out on. The issue of Hagar, for instance. He was silent on it. He was supposed to speak out on it. And I remember in the first few years of my marriage, there were things I was supposed to speak out on, and I was silent. And guess what? I thought I was making peace. I was creating more trouble. So a man must be the head of the government, and the government starts with you. Bring yourself under government, self-control, self-discipline, chief value officer. Then you bring that same thing into your family. And those are one of the lessons I learned from the book, the movie Jazzman's Blues, when it comes to the father, the man of the house, the husband. And I hope you've been able to learn a few lessons from that. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day.